Ooh, just getting toasty there by the dumpster fire. The dumpster fire that is Canada. Holy cow, ladies and gents, welcome back. It is another Friday evening, and, well, if you've got a wobbly pop, grab one and join me tonight as we talk about what's been going on in our country, in our world, in the news and politics and all of this stuff. Big cheers to everybody. Chat, get in here. Get on in here. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Good evening, folks, says Waniska. Thank you. Okay, good evening and happy Friday all. Hit the like button. Yes, get down there and make sure you hit that like button. It helps out a tremendous much, actually, a ton. A whole ton. And the reason why is because of just how the algorithm works. If you wanna help out the channel, you give the algorithm signals, the signals that it's looking for. So that being likes and comments and chats and all of that stuff. If you like what's going on here and you want to get it recommended out to more people, those are the cheap, easy, and free ways to do it. And it helps a ton, and I appreciate it so very much. What do we got going here? 34 is my thumbs up check-in number. Good evening, Clyde. 34. Oh, you're number 34. We're already all the way up to 81, and we're just getting started. So let's keep that going and see how many we can get for this live stream. Hi, everyone from Eastern Ontario. Welcome, Eastern Ontario. Welcome, West Coonies, BC. Sorry, Debbie, Sandy. Welcome to the show. Peter from Edmonton. Big old cheers. Bottoms up, my man. We'll see you in the Discord later, of course, as well. Hopefully everybody that knows about it. I mean, maybe we should advertise that. Oh, so every Friday is a special day because it's the day to give back to the community. So every morning I wake up super early, I make these videos, I go to work, I pull wrenches all day long, and then I come home and I be a dad and I go to bed. And that's the weekdays. But Friday comes along, and Friday is like, all right, let's actually hang out and chill with everybody. So what we've made as a kind of a tradition around here is on Fridays we do this live stream, and we've been starting earlier the past couple of weeks. So on the Friday live streams 5:30, which is great because a lot of people in Eastern Canada are able to tune in. It's not too late there. Hi, still summer, Clyde. Yes, it is. It's don't get to see the sun, though. Not these days. Not with the fires that are around. And that's crazy. Nova Scotia checking in. Matthew, thank you for joining. Hello, Bowen Island. Where the fires close to you? Yeah, there are two fires that are pretty close. Not close enough to be worried about, like, being in the fire. It's just so much smoke. It's crazy. And you just don't get to see much outside because of that. So it's a big issue here. So anyway, yeah, getting back to it. Friday, the live stream is the community get together, basically. So welcome in, folks. Come hang out. We're going to talk about some stuff, catch up on some of the news stories, maybe the stuff that I didn't even cover, maybe go more in depth on some of the stories. I tend to go on rants and get raving like a lunatic. Whatever. We'll do this. This is the usual thing. And then after the live stream, usually it's about 2 hours hanging out here, but then we go over to the Discord. What's Discord? You might be asking. I don't know what's a Discord, Clyde. Tell me about this. It's another social media platform that does what it does really good is share voice and video. So you can do group chat rooms with, and if there's too many people, you can't do video, but it's audio, pretty good quality. And everybody can jump in and all this stuff. And yeah, it's great and it's free and it's available to everybody. We only make it available on Friday nights. The Discord server is there all the time, but we only make the invite available on Friday nights when everybody who wants to be a part of the community is hanging out and in the chat room. That's when to share out the link. That's when to get it out there for everybody. And I'm not sure if my moderators are even in the chat room just yet, but I'll make sure to get that link out to you guys. Here is the link. I'm just going to copy this here and post it right in the chat so everybody has the opportunity. We'll be posting it from time to time as things have been going. There it is right there. Join the Discord. Make sure you get the, yeah, that's the right link. So get on over there, join in, say hello to everybody, and yeah, we'll see you over there in a couple of hours. But in the meantime, let's get into some of these stories. The stories being this dumpster fire as we started it out in Canada. Of course, one of the biggest stories that happened this week was out of Ontario again. Another, I mean, what a move by Doug Ford coming out and Marty up north even posting about it, saying this is the most retarded thing I've ever seen a politician do yet. Crown Royal is made in Manitoba. So if you guys hadn't seen this already, I'm sure it's been on the rounds. It's been on the rounds everywhere. But this is Doug Ford just doing the dumbest Doug Ford stuff that he does. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Doug Ford pouring out a bottle of Crown Royal whiskey because he was mad that they shut one of their facilities.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they can do. And I think everyone else should do the same thing. Start supporting companies that make whiskey here by Ontario people. That's what we need to do, is support each other. You know something, I'm going to make this even come out quicker.
It's not coming out, Doug.
You know Mayor Barry wants to lie on the floor right now? No, thanks. No. I wish I could get this out coming out quicker, but I'll stand here.
It's always about alcohol with Drug and Dougie. Yeah, that's right. It's always about alcohol with this guy. It's insane. And yeah, Ryan Garrettson pointing it out. Crown Royal is a Canadian product, exclusively made in Manitoba. Doug seen here pouring out a bottle of it on live TV like a petulant child. This guy's unhinged. He's absolutely unhinged. It's insane. And yeah, I mean, seeing it everywhere. Petrified COVID parent pointing out Premier Ford Nation, Doug Ford, and it is the Ford Nation. It's like, everything was good until the Ford Nation came. Premier Doug Ford is really sticking it to Crown Royal. First, he paid for the bottle, so the company has already made the money on it. Next, he pours it out as if they care what happens to the bottle after it's been purchased. Elbows up. Well, elbows. What are the elbows? The elbows. Where are they? Because they're definitely not up for Canada. The Team Canada thing's gone away with Dougie Boy, and it's all about. Is it all about Ontario? Well, it's all about one factory in Ontario. It's one bottling plant, one bottling facility where they would get the barrels and put them in glass bottles. That's it. That place in Amherstburg, yeah, it sucks to see that go, but here's the problem. We have so many regulations in Canada, so much regulation, that it's almost impossible to do business here. It's cost prohibitive, counterproductive to even think about opening a business in Canada. And that's what a lot of people have been saying these days, because they're not really keen on Canada. And that's the news has been coming out. Better Dwelling saying that Canada's capital flight crisis, record exit by foreign and domestic investors. Foreign and domestic investors. That means Canadians. Canadians that have some money and they'd like to invest it in companies here, so that their money goes a little ways instead of just sticking it in a bank account where they're just gonna inflate it away to zero if they could. Yeah, no, people are putting their money and investing in things so that their money can get put to work. Now, what happens when the regulatory bodies in Canada are way too overpowering, and inflation's through the roof, and you can't open a business for anything? Well, people take those investment dollars and they send them elsewhere. Canada's bleeding capital at the fastest rate since financial crisis. Statistics Canada's latest data shows foreign investors pulled billions from the country in Q2, with domestic investors joining the exodus. This goes beyond tariffs. The sheer scale and pace of the outflows point to a deeper structural cracks and fading confidence in the country's future. Canada hasn't seen foreign capital flight at this pace since the financial crisis. When they say the financial crisis, they're talking about the financial crisis that started at the end of 2007, carried on through 2008 and beyond, to infinity and beyond. Canada's global investment appeals suffered its biggest setback since the financial crisis. This is the financial crisis. They're not going to be talking about '08 anymore in the future. They're going to be talking about 2025. That's where this is going. Foreign investors sold off $16.8 billion in Canadian securities in Q2, the largest divestment since Q4 of 2007. The pullback was primarily in bonds, $10.3 billion worth of government bonds, our debt. Nobody wants to hold it. But substantial withdrawals were also seen in money markets, instruments, and equities, funds, shares. This follows a $5.8 billion divestment in Q1, making it 22.65 withdrawn from to date this year. That's crazy. Just this year, $22 billion have been taken out of the Canadian economy. It's absolutely insane because overregulation is a speedway towards bankruptcy. The government is the problem and needs to be substantially shrinked. I couldn't agree more, Rage Man. This is a huge problem. This is the thing. Canadians love their socialism, and oh man, all across the board, everyone's just happy to have their entitlements and their payouts and all of this stuff. But how do you get entitlements if there's no business here? I mean, if you could just make entitlements and just live on entitlements and not actually produce anything, then we could talk about this kind of thing. But that isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about, I mean, then the third world wouldn't be the third world, would it? They just promise themselves stuff. Hey, I'm just going to promise myself stuff in the future, and then I'll just borrow to get it now. And that's how it works, right? Isn't that how we've been told that this all goes down? Yeah, well, it has been how we've been told how this all goes down, but it's not quite right. It's not quite the way the world actually works. And we're quickly learning this, which is terrifying, actually. Terrifying, to say the least, actually. But I digress. Getting back to Doug Ford. Doug Ford doing the whole Crown Royal thing. Now, that came about because Crown Royal was closing down an Ontario plan, shifting some of its operations to the United States of America, which, I mean, makes sense. It makes sense, again, with all this capital leaving Canada. Well, this is part of it. This is part of that. It really sucks. This is Reg says $5 billion slush fund for the auto companies. Yeah, well, we'll see how that rolls out. Oh boy, we'll see how that rolls out indeed. Because, yeah, of course they want to. Could you close the window? Just close that little window. The ads keep popping up. They just love those advertisements, don't they? But, yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem as, you know, some of these facilities are closing. Now, this was one facility, and this was to predominantly bottling Crown Royal that's going to be going to the U.S. markets and abroad. Now, it's cost prohibitive to send, let's be honest, to send bottles, individual bottles across the border, the Canadian-U.S. border, because of all that we've seen. It would be cheaper for them to just send the barrels, and then they could bottle it over there themselves at their own leisure or whatever. And probably without the union and all of the messiness that came from all that. You guys keep asking if Frank's coming on. I did throw the invite out there, but he's busy. He's got stuff to do tonight. So this is just the usual Friday night stream. Folks, grab a gun, people. I'm not saying that. That would not be good advice from somebody in this position. Beer stores are closing in Ontario because of Doug also. He spent millions to sever the contract. So, okay, let's get into that. Because I actually got this from someone who's following, and I followed back on X because this person sent me some really good information. Now, I got an email, actually, because I said, oh, you got more? send me. I'll email you. And this is June Leach. Says, hey Clyde, not sure if this is a good story for you or not, but I haven't seen any kind of news about it anywhere. Crickets. And later sent me this story that does go along with this. Now, what was said here is the distributors get their beer and some coolers from Molson, Labatt, etc., but it doesn't get out of the retail stores except through BDL. So this is this supply chain breakdown that's happening for alcohol sales in Canada. This is concerning. I mean, if you like to have your weekend brewskis, we might be some serious trouble for some of these, alcohol distributors. Yeah, of course, if you're in Ontario, it's all about government run. But in other provinces, it's not all government run. In British Columbia, it's not all government run. If I want to get a American whiskey, I go to LC, like an LC, not an LCBO. I go to a beer store, a beer and wine shop. That's where I go. Or LCBC, I guess, liquor store, British Columbia. Is that what they call it? From what I've been told, AGLC, I guess that's the Alberta Liquor Control Board, the BLD has closed down for some reason. They haven't been answering any phone calls, emails. They sent a blanket email saying that they're working on a technical issue and that all beer orders have been canceled. That's crazy. AGLC, or Molson's, hasn't been told what has been going on, all except the same email sent to retail stores. I've talked to both. Similar stores will be hit the hardest, smaller stores will be hit the hardest because BDL's restrictions on what beer can what can be had is layers, kegs, or pallets. The big stores can afford that, but not the little stores. Each area seems like it's had different items that can be bought. Personally, I've had the worst Labor Day weekend for sales ever. That's unbelievable. I never reached my order last week. My orders go in on Tuesdays and get delivered Thursdays. We weren't told about this until Thursday night. Now the time is come and gone for orders this week as well. My cooler will be empty by this weekend. The other point is that we have to pay for our orders before it gets delivered. We haven't gotten anything back, and AGLC were told to hold on to the money just in case. Said any other questions, feel free to contact. Don't hesitate. And this is crazy. Unreal. So then this story came out, right? So then this story comes out. Ontario bars, restaurants struggling to order from beer store amid system outage. Some Ontario bars and restaurants are struggling to order beer amid a system outage on the beer store's online ordering system. The beer store is primarily a primary wholesaler distributor of beer to the establishments. In a statement to 680 News Radio, the beer store confirmed they were experiencing an outage on their ordering platform. The outage started on August 27th. Teams are working diligently to get this system back and running, read the statement. The company contends deliveries are happening, but says an interim measure, bars and restaurants can purchase beer at the beer store retail locations. Oh boy. Orders can be submitted via email or the phone to the beer store. Efforts remain ongoing to restore normal business operations. President and CEO Roy Bennon apologized in a statement to the licensee customers for the interruption. Licensee and customers can be assured that we will continue to get beer to the people and businesses that need it, said Bennon. We need Smokey and the Bandit here in Canada. Isn't that what we need? Or not the Bandit, not Smokey, but we need the Bandit and good old the Snowman. That's crazy. 680 News Radio has learned the online ordering issues are not the result of a cyber attack or any interference by an outside actor. No, it's called relying entirely on the government for anything. Oh man, I can't say this enough. The government sucks at everything that they do. They absolutely suck at everything. And this is the reality of it. Yeah, how about good old Dougie pouring out Crown Royal? Yeah, we were just going over that. Man, it's insane. Everyone's saying grab a gun. Get a gun. Get yourself a gun. Oh, that's on X. Reaper saying that. Hey, you guys can't see that in the other chat. There we go. Yeah, interesting how that works. That one's stayed at the bottom, and then everything's moving up. Huh. I wonder why that happens. Anyway, let's keep going, folks. Oh, man. What have we got? This was a new one. I haven't even heard the whole audio from this, but this is really interesting. So Brian Lilly posted this one today. And this is digging up from back in 2013. This is Mark Carney and Mark Carney's words. Carney says, in 2013, he was talking on the temporary foreign workers program. He said, one doesn't want an over-reliance, certainly on temporary foreign workers for lower skilled jobs, which prevent the wage adjustment mechanism from making sure that Canadians are paid higher wages. What do you know? He had that to say all that time ago. Here's Mark Carney in his own words.
That one doesn't want an over-reliance, certainly on temporary foreign workers for lower skilled jobs, which prevent the wage adjustment mechanism from both improving, making sure that Canadians are paid higher wages,
Yeah,
but also
right.
that the firms improve their productivity as is necessary. So we don't want to mask it, and as the government's review and as the intent of the review to ensure that this is used for transition for those higher skilled gaps that do exist and can hold our economy. So
Wow, it's like you could totally agree with this guy talking about, yes, there are certain jobs, like high skill jobs, that when there are no applicants within the nation's borders, that's when you can reach out and you can get people to fill those positions. Another position for temporary foreign workers that makes sense, and let's just be absolutely honest about this one, which is low skill, it's just laboring. It's temporary workers that go out and pick fruits, vegetables, things like that on farms. You know, I grew up in southwestern Ontario. We saw a lot of that in farmers' fields, corn, peas, down in Leamington, tomatoes, all of that stuff. This is something that would happen, but they would legitimately be temporary workers. Here you go, Light Giver saying, we do not need temporary workers except for farmers. That's it. That's it. And it makes a lot of sense in the farming industry. And this is you gotta throw those farmers a bone, because, you know, harvest season comes along and they don't have the people. They just don't have the people to do it. And it's not a job that lasts a very long time. You're talking about a month or two, three months, that kind of thing, max. And people get out there, they come, and we see it here. You know, there's a few farms just north of here. We go visit there. And when you're there, at harvest season, you'll meet a bunch of Mexicans that have come all the way up here because they want to make some money and then take that money home, because they make more money here than they would back home in Mexico. So they're like, sweet, I'll spend the time away from my kids and family and all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, none of them are eager to stay. Let me tell you that. As soon as those cold nights come, they are happy to be vamonos on the road. Hasta luego. You know, that's it. Thanks for the job, for that temporary time, and I'm out of here. That's the deal. So in those situations, temporary foreign workers make sense. But what's temporary about what they've been doing with the temporary foreign worker scheme That's the big question. Trish Prue for 279 says Kelowna would get a lot of Quebecers in the 70s and 80s. Those are foreign workers. Temporary workers, absolutely. Coming out from Quebec to help out. That's one of those things. Quebecers going to Fort McMoney. Of course, I kid. But absolutely, that's the thing. And but as time went on, less and less temporary Quebecers wanted to come out to these different places. Now, it's predominantly Mexicans. That's what we see a lot of. But in my experience, the people that I've seen come, definitely coming and going. Coming, staying, working, leaving, going back home. They're not coming with a bunch of stuff. They're coming with a suitcase. And that's what temporary foreign worker is. That's what those words mean. That's what temporary means. It means only for a short period of time. And I mean, you have to keep reminding people of this because it just is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's really come to bear. Of course, I shared this morning. This was I love this sign. This is the new sign. I guess they've rebranded, but people have noticed. They've absolutely noticed what's going on, and it's not really what we intended. But this is a big old scam, and a big old scheme about this. My wife came from Germany in the 80s. They had to support themselves, etc. Absolutely. They had to support themselves, and they ought to. And this is part of the big gripe. This is part of the big gripe, of course. What do we got here? Frank just giving me a message. Because I gave him the invite to come on out tonight. But he wasn't able to make it. He's a dude. What a dude. Love Frank. He's the best. Frank Vaughn. If you don't know Frank Vaughn, get on over to his channel and watch his stuff. He doesn't monetize his channel, and that's why he doesn't get a lot of people recommended in the algorithm, and I've been trying to convince him to do that. Get that going so you'll get recommended. More people deserve to see what Frank is talking about. Absolutely. But getting back to this, as I said, look no further than your local immigration office to see what's going on with the temporary foreign worker problem. And it really sucks. It sucks for everyone involved. Thank you, Silas. You keep changing your name. Oh, you keep changing your name. But thank you, Silas, for putting that in there. Really helpful there. But this has become the scam, and let me tell you, people on both sides of this are really hurting. Who's really benefiting from this? These corporations, these companies, these trucking outfits that are making bank off of destroying a lot of stuff that's going on in Canada. Now, Pierre Poilievre, he came out talking about this, and we'll get to that in just a second. Breakpoint Communications for $27.99 says, let me pop this up on the screen so we can all see it. Oh, sorry, Communities. Why did I say communicate? It was cut off at the bottom. So Breakpoint Communities with a $27.99 super chat says, Are employers posting jobs to interview candidates they knowingly won't hire because they are trying to make it appear that they're interviewed? It's not just entry level jobs. Go to an office, go to a bank. It's everywhere. That's crazy. It is all over the place. It's absolutely all over the place. I didn't know it was in banks and offices. go to a bank. Yeah, I suppose. That's crazy. It goes deeper for sure. And man, we're not even at the end of this rabbit hole. It's crazy. And everybody's losing out. Everybody's losing out, including the Canadian taxpayer, the average Joe that just wants to get a job, young kids who are looking for their first job. Yeah, trucking. And it's crazy. There are you gotta be honest here though. There are so many situations where, like for example, a brother of mine, he works up in Northern Ontario. He works for a trucking outfit that he's worked for a very long time, and there are no applicants, no Canadians applying for a job to do this stuff, to run the road train, to move ore from the mine sites to the smelter. There's nobody, and it's all these LMIAs and all of these temporary foreigners that are coming over, and nobody's treating it like temporary. And this is where it's pretty egregious, actually. Of course, Pierre Poilievre coming out and saying something about this, but I mean, it really wasn't until there was kind of some pushback on him. Let's just get into it. Shout out to Mr. Sunshine Baby for posting this on X. He says, watch, Ezra Levant gives advice to Pierre Poilievre on the issue of temporary foreign workers. This is really a good listen.
Hi, Ezra Levant from Rebel News. I thought it was very interesting about Booster Juice paying $36 an hour to a foreign worker. And I think a lot of Canadians don't know how pervasive this is, and that's an outrageous anecdote.
It is an outrageous anecdote. How many? $36 an hour to a temporary foreign worker? I mean, you're telling me that you couldn't find a Canadian to take that job for $36 an hour? You serious? You couldn't find a Canadian anywhere. Unemployment is through the roof. Like, it's through the roof right now. It's crazy. Canada's unemployment rate jumps to a 9-year high. Raising bets for Bank of Canada rate cut. Wow, they changed this. They changed the title since this morning. That's insane. Raising the bets for a rate cut. Why do they need a rate cut? Just get rid of temporary foreign workers. Get rid of them. And it's not even like a big, like, mass deportation scheme. It's like, no, you just don't renew them. Any of them that are expiring don't get renewed. That's it. It says temporary on it. I mean, if you came over on a false promise and now you're like, oh, but I was told I'd get PR. Well, you were told something that's not true. It says right on it, temporary foreign worker. Temporary. You should have only brought a suitcase and been ready to go back. That's it. If you applied differently for like permanent residence abroad, and this is the thing. This is the crazy thing. I work with foreigners. I work with a lot of foreigners. Personally. I work with a bunch of foreigners. Australian guy, English guy, another English guy, another English lady. Who else? Another Australian guy. And then there's only like a couple of Canadians where I work as a mechanic, right? Just hard to find mechanics, apparently. That's a thing. So we get foreigners to work for us. Do we have any temporary foreign workers? Not one. Not one. Everybody that works with us came over with a permanent residence. That's how it was done. They applied for it overseas. They were granted it. They came. That's how you do it for all those people that are being told your visa is expired. You have to go back. Sorry, not sorry. You didn't do the right process. That's exactly how that goes. North 49 RC for $20. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It says everything in the service industry is taking a reputational hit. This is not Canadian. It needs to stop to protect our culture. This is happening all over Europe. This tank is full. Absolutely is full. And it goes beyond that. I mean, like, what the future for our kids, you know? And I've been telling this story, right? So when I visited Texas recently, it reminded me of growing up. It actually reminded me of the time it was when I was growing up, because I'm visiting Texas, and so many people are like, you got to try Whataburger. You got to try In-N-Out. You got to try Chick-fil-A. You got to try all these places. I'm like, okay. Like, I love food. And I even love fast food. Like, people are snobs. I love fast food. I think it's great. Diners and whatever. If it sucks, I'll eat it once, you know? But everybody's like, you got to try this stuff. It's like, when you're down there, try it. Okay. And every place we went to, it was the same scene. Go in there, and it was young Americans working at these places. And yeah, peppered ethnicities, whatever, but they're all American. Talk to any one of them, they had an American accent of some variety. There's an interesting thing about Texas. You'll go and talk. You'll talk to 20 people in a day. You'll hear 20 different accents. I love it. I love it. It's great. But it's amazing because everybody was young people working for an entry-level position, getting a job experience, and making a decent amount of money. I saw some of the wages that they were giving people. Like, In-N-Out Burger was hiring people starting at $18.50 and then goes up to $22 after training. That's amazing. That's American dollars, by the way. That's really good. Hell, even Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's was hiring people starting at $20 an hour. That's $27 an hour, by the way. Canadian. Incredible. Milady loves cats. I love your name, Milady loves cats. I'm sure you got some fabulous cats. Appreciate it. Member for 20 months. Slush fund for businesses? Question mark. 2 words. SDTC scandal. Yeah. SDTC used to do good work pre-2016, but after, yeah, not. I know. I worked there and left in 2017. Oh, amazing. Wow, you went through it. You went through the thick of it. Holy cow. Let me catch up on some of these. My bad. Diego M. Santos with a $5 super chat says, the only way that us, the people, can change Canada is by voting blue. Do you think it's realistic for the Liberals to call a new election in 2026? I do not. I don't think that the Liberals are going to do that. No, I don't see any reason for them to do so. I don't see any incentive. I don't see any incentive for any of the other parties to take down the Liberals. You know, the Liberals are squeaking at a very high minority, right? Close to majority territory. They have the NDP, who are going to run a leadership race only not until 2026, right? It's not happening until the spring of 2026. So they're never going to vote no confidence. And the Liberals, none of the Liberals, they're all going to keep their jobs. That's what they want to do. And so then the Bloc Québécois is the breaker, right? They're the tiebreaker. Well, think about this for a moment. The Liberals are happy to spend other people's money to keep in power. They're really, really happy at doing that. And they're really happy to subjugate other provinces and take their money and give it to other provinces in order to keep power. That's right. They've been pretty good at that. And they've really shown that that's their initiative, that's their motives. So the Bloc Québécois, they look at it and they think, why would we take out the Liberals in order to get a conservative government when the Conservatives will not give us the kind of sweet deals and things like that the Liberals will give us? So I don't see the Bloc Québécois taking out the Liberal government. I just don't see it. I see us going all the way to the next scheduled election, but probably just before the next scheduled election, just like they did this time, so that they could try to pull some stunt. I'm all for having scheduled elections with mandatory party primaries just prior to the election. I absolutely think that the American system works very good. It's a tough contest to win that, but you know, the Democrats have really, really over decades and decades tried to stack the deck, right? They tried to stack the deck. And holy cow. I love the fact that the Republicans are just undoing everything that they've done. Getting rid of foreigners that have flooded in, illegal aliens all over the United States that were voting in elections. Goodbye. Not happening. Getting rid of the gerrymandering that had occurred over periods of time. Do you guys know about the gerrymandering? This is just kind of crazy. How do you spell that? Okay, gerrymandering examples. Yeah, so this is crazy. Oh, this is absolutely crazy. So what is gerrymandering, you might ask? Somebody might say, oh, what is, Clyde, what's this gerrymandering you're talking about? It's it's an interesting way of doing things. So let's grab some examples. I'm going to pull one up. I'll open that one in a new tab. It's there's so many good ones. Hold on, just bear with me because you're gonna love this. Just pulling up examples. Open image here. So, boom, pop this up on the screen. So is that part of why Carney doesn't care about doing anything? He knows he's gonna get a full term like PM, thanks to the block. That's my guess. He's not worried about concern. He's not concerned about making sure everybody's happy. No, he doesn't need to. He's already secured the political win. It's already a thing. That's the thing. So look at this. So this is how gerrymandering works. So you know how in the last election Pierre Poilievre lost in Carleton, and a lot of people are saying, well, it's because they gerrymandered. Well, there is no gerrymandering in Canada. There's redistricting, and that's what gerrymandering is. It's redistricting, but it's in a specific way. So in Canadian redistricting, there's like rules around it that are different than the rules in America. So what happens is if the demographic shifts and you have like large numbers of people, it's based on that. So if a number of people all grow to one area, you might have to split a riding so that there's more representation across the different ridings and not just like a whole lot of people that have very little say because they're all in one riding, that kind of thing. But in the US, they do this thing. This is hilarious. So what they'll do is they can actually choose where the district goes. These politicians will sit here, and the Democrats have been doing this for decades and decades and decades. And what they'll do is they'll split a riding or a district. They'll split the district so that it cuts into another district because they know that certain demographics will live within that district, right? They know that there's like a minority demographic that lives in an area, so they want to gobble up more of those so that they can shoehorn their win into that. So you have like District 1. This is North Carolina, right? And then you look at District 4. rather than potentially losing District 4, because maybe the northern part, maybe that northern part is like, it's got, I don't know, like a 60-40 split where it's like 60% Republicans and 40% Democrats. And the Democrats that would be down in District 2, they would typically, they wouldn't be, their vote would probably go against the Republicans in number 2, but wouldn't actually get them a win. So what they'll do is they'll carve out that little bit and put it into District 4 just so that they can get a win. And these are where these Democrat strongholds come from. It's ridiculous. It's called gerrymandering, And the Republicans are undoing this. Some of the most famous gerrymandered districts look like this. It's unbelievable. This isn't because of lakes and rivers and stuff. This is literally because they shoehorned and they picked different neighborhoods. You could cross back and forth in between two districts 4 times on the same street. You know what I mean? Because of how they have gerrymandered these things. It's shenanigans. Is that exactly what it is, right? And so this is what they've been doing to secure wins across America. So when people say like, well, it's really 50-50 in America, the Democrats and the Republicans. And it's like, well, it might not be. It might actually be more Republican than it is Democrat. It's just because of these shenanigans that they pull to ensure wins. Like, look at this place. Look at this place in Illinois. Like, there's a whole district carved into the middle of another district. It's just unbelievable. This is the district peninsula that jets into 2 other districts. It's just unbelievable, the kind of stuff. Not shenanigans in Germany. 7 of the Conservative Party candidates are dead in 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, that stuff. That's some craziness. That's some absolute craziness. But yeah, I digress. This is why it's different in America than it is in Canada. I hate to tell you, but unless there's voter reform, which there never will be because the Liberals will lose. if there's equal representation from the West and the East, then yeah, the Liberals would lose. That's why they don't want to change it. It's unbelievable. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's very different in the United States. The United States is very much more red across the board, and that's a good thing in my estimate. I think that's a very good thing. But that's me. Yeah, all those socialists out there don't think so. But yeah, Canada's a very socialist place and leans very, very left. And this is why that whole 51st state thing would never work. Would never work. But I think there is a good chance that a lot of Canadians would probably fare well in the United States if they had the same outlook as Americans did. And the caveat to that is don't move to America with the thought that any of the things that are not America belong in America. And this is one thing for sure, because I plan on doing a bunch of videos talking about immigrating to the United States, why I'm moving to the U.S., how others can move to the U.S., is it a good idea for you to move to the U.S., these kinds of things. And number one, I just want to throw number one out there, is if you have any problem with the Pledge of Allegiance, for example, if you have any problem with you want to bring socialized medicine, those kinds of things, do not go. It's not the place for you if that's what you want. And Americans don't want Canadians coming over there and trying to change America. Because guess what? It's just like every other place. People leave a crap hole. Don't bring that where you're going. Don't bring that where you're going. A lot of Canadians are saying that. Same thing about people that are coming into Canada. Don't bring your crappy ways here. Only traitors run away, says Concerned Canadian. So you're like the descendant of traitors. you're the descendant of people who ran away from where they were from. Oh, give me a break, Concerned Canadian. You should be a little bit more concerned about your own shit. Let's just be honest about that. But yeah, no. Canada was founded by people who thought their place had turned to shit and moved away. That's That's the truth. Amen to that, Clyde. Yeah. If you're moving to Canada from some other place, don't bring your backwards stuff to Canada. And if you're moving to America from Canada, don't bring backwards Canada to America. I can't stress that enough. Absolutely cannot stress that enough. And Albertans are thinking the same thing right now. Alberta would fit in just fine with Montana and Texas. Yeah. And Albertans, Marty says it all the time. If you move to Alberta, welcome. If you bring Ontario to Alberta, don't come. You know? Don't bring that backwards ways. The reason why you're leaving. Sash saying, I don't blame you for bailing, Clyde. This isn't the Canada I grew up in. No, it's not the Canada I grew up in. And we're so liberal and woke now that I honestly don't believe there is any coming back. Love Montana. Let's take a fast boat to Venezuela to escape Canada. Oh, man. Lightgiver says Nigel Farage was at the U.S. Senate talking about the lack of free speech laws in the U.K. The demon rats, the Democrats, were despicable. Yeah, they are. They are despicable. They're absolutely despicable. Unreal. Yeah, sorry. I went on a rant there. I'll have to come back to where we were. My bad. Let's get into Studio 778 for $6.99. Thank you so much. Says it's $35 PH because the owner gets a cut and the employee gets minimum wage and lives in a 2-bedroom basement suite with 10 other migrants. Yeah, Canada is. Why do we tolerate this? It's unbelievable that we tolerate this. And how many people are just like, yeah, okay, whatever, but I'm still gonna get my Timmies in the morning. If you don't like this stuff, don't support the companies that do these things. Don't support the companies that actually do this stuff. Stop it. Get some help. Sorry. I feel like Michael Jordan. You guys know that clip? Michael Jordan? Stop it. Get some help. I gotta play it now. Stop it.
I'm Michael Jordan.
Oh, this is the whole clip. Like, yeah, 1 second.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help. Absolutely. Get some help, folks. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the government subsidizing this stuff. Do not support that. I do not support that. And is anyone coming out and saying anything about this? Not really. Not really. Not really at all. Angela Cordoso, welcome back to the chat. Hi, Clyde. Long time no talk. Been out and about during the summer, and now I'm back to my routine. Got engaged this summer, too. Oh, congrats. Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. You gotta pop in the after stream on Discord and tell us more about it. That's really awesome. I'm really happy for you. Congratulations. That's amazing. Subsidize it with your hard-earned tax dollars. You know what? If you want temporary foreign workers, if anything, there should be a surplus tax on foreign workers. If you have someone, if you went through the process of getting someone and not training someone in Canada, there should be a levy on that. I don't see the reason for subsidizing it. It's absolutely a scam. A total scam. Milady Loves Cats for $10. Thank you so much. Says, yeah, politicians make policies based on how they hold on or strengthen their power, not about what's best for the country. Zero about what's best for the country. Zero. And that goes across the board. I'm not being discriminatory and saying it's only the Liberals or the NDP. It's everybody. All of them. Milady Loves Cats gifting 10 memberships to the channel. Wow, thank you so much. That's very generous of you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Holy cow. And jumping in with another $10 super chat says, love the Hawaii themed shirts, Clyde. but a bit nostalgic of the checkered shirts. LOL. The checkered shirts are coming back. Yeah, it's just the hot weather. I like wearing the thin these shirts when it's hot. Don't worry. As soon as, because it's not gonna stay hot for very long. And holy cow, yes, it looks like I'm gonna be in Canada for another winter because my wife's immigration has not come through, and we're still on the waiting list for that. Really bummed. I'm hoping to get. Let's just hope by the spring we can hit the road. Because boy is that, yeah, our life is just on hold. Absolutely on hold. With, no. Not doing anything yet. Not doing anything just yet. It's crazy. Just waiting and waiting. So back to the story. Because I was in the middle of that segment of Pierre Poilievre talking. So Pierre was, being in the middle of being asked the question by Ezra Levant. Let's get back to that.
I don't think the Liberals are going to accept your advice here, so I think your reforms wouldn't be able to bite until you become Prime Minister if that happens. But I think there is something you could do in the meantime. And let me ask you if you would consider...
No kidding.
I'm
Same.
Just doing some brainstorming here. Would you consider shining a...
Oh, before we continue on here, Reg saying... Clyde, just claim asylum at the border. I don't need to claim asylum at the border. I'm a U.S. citizen. But there is the story with James Bowder, who's claiming asylum in the U.S. And he's claiming asylum because of his fear of persecution by the Canadian government. And I want to pay attention to this story very closely. And I think many people should. Many people should definitely pay attention very closely to this story because I'll tell you what, if he's accepted into the United States under the guise of he's being persecuted by a rogue government, I think that the asylum claims are going to skyrocket. Absolutely skyrocket in the United States. And that will be with, of course, people who supported the convoy, things like that, people who are worried. But this will be a big thing. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on this one because I'm very interested in this story. I'd like to know. Because there's a lot of people, obviously there's a lot of people I know that I would love to see get out because for the reasons that they're very vocal about this stuff and might see retribution in the future from governments. Just look at Mr. Sunshine Baby, for example. We've already had David Eby mention him several times. Not like that guy's, super chill, and wouldn't seek retribution. It's not like he doesn't have ties to the Chinese mob. It's crazy. From what I understand, the asylum program is restricted. It's restricted, but he's still there. Kean Bexty, great point, right there. So yeah, very important story. Absolutely. North 49 RC for 10. Thank you so much. Says Canada's voting. Canada voting citizens. Oh, you hit the colon accidentally. Gotcha. Canada's voting citizens don't want Canada to change from being Canada. I totally agree with you. But need equal representation. What happened in the last election? Just ridiculous. The whole left side of the country was blue. There's no equal representation. It's absolutely crazy. Because too many bogus asylum claims under Biden. That's true. But look at what Donald Trump did with the South Africans. He can single out a country and say, we're considering these, and that's a thing. So, and unfortunately, that might be part of why my application for my wife is delayed. Anyway, let's get back to this question.
Spotlight using your bully pulpit.
He's asking, can you use your bully pulpit as a spotlight to not just point out that the Canadian government's doing a bad job, but point out that these particular entities, and in particular Tim Hortons, while draping itself in a Canadian flag while being a Brazilian corporation that cares nothing about Canada, is doing all of this stuff, and not just winning cheap money, but literally fueling backdoor immigration that's illegitimate. Illegitimate backdoor immigration is happening through a foreign national corporation operating within Canada while calling itself a Canadian national treasure.
On the worst offenders, for example, maybe a company that really wraps itself in the Canadian flag, like Tim Hortons, would you consider having an event outside of Tim Hortons? Would you consider writing to the board of directors of RBI and the Brazilian hedge fund? And I guess what I'm saying is there's no downside to these companies hiring foreign workers. But if there was a PR downside, if patriotic Canadians said, this is enough. I notice in the UK there's a lot of people waving British and English flags.
People are going to jail for it as well. That was some of the memes that people were putting out there. They're saying like, what was it? I saw some memes. It was done by AI. Guy like painting an English flag on a pothole on the ground, and then the road crew comes over to patch it up real quick. And a guy, this lady she's watching a crew take away a sofa, and she's like, yeah, I'd been sitting here for weeks, but then we painted an English flag on it, and the city came and picked it up right away. Another guy's like, yeah, I paint the garbage bins, my bin bags with the English flag now. They come get them right away. It's hilarious. Hilarious. You can't have an English flag in England. That's terrible. It's not inclusive enough. It's unbelievable. That's what they were doing with the Canadian flag until elbows up time came. Unreal.
It's their response to immigration crises. Would you consider naming and shaming in the public domain abusers of the TFW program?
Yes, and thank you for the question. Michelle Rempel has already begun the process. She's been publishing the most egregious cases of corporate elites profiting by shutting Canadians out of jobs in favor of low-wage temporary foreign workers. And Michelle, do you want to add anything to that? Sure. Come on over.
That's not a bad idea, Seventh Son. Saying you should put an official assist request to your viewers, ex-followers in the U.S. to see if anyone works in a capacity where they can help out with your wife's visa situation. That's not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea, because I do have viewers in the U.S. and maybe some of them maybe know somebody. I don't know. I actually wrote to the representative in Congress for the district that I'm moving into, but I haven't heard anything back. I'm sure he gets bombarded all the time. He's probably got a huge email thing. But I did do that. So yeah, it's not a bad idea. Maybe on a regular weekday I'll throw that out there and see if anybody actually catches that, sees it. Cause boy, is this hold up something else. It's been a real thing. It's over a year now. Over a year. It's becoming untenable, to say the least. And it's costing so much money to just be here. Oof. Unreal. Milady Loves Cats with another 5 says, Hit the like, folks, and subscribe if you're not already. Clyde does great work for Canada. Thank you. Thank you. And I think I'll be able to do great work for Canada, even not in Canada. And I think the reason why is because just watch. There's going to be a lot of people who zip it coming up as the government steps further and further on the neck of liberty in the country. It's going to be something else. Seventh Son, I'm in the U.S. I'd help, but I have no government connects. What state are you in, Seventh Son? What state are you in? Because I don't even know if it matters if it's a representative in Texas that helps me out, because it's a Clyde is better than nothing. Why not move to where your wife lives? What? Move to the other side of the bed? What are you talking about? Oh, that's silly. That's such a silly thing to say. Sorry, one more from Breaking Point Communities. For $13.99, illegitimate backdoor immigration is human trafficking. Good point. Point well taken. That's what that is. A lot of them, it's willing though. It's a lot of willingness to that. Florida, headed to Williamson County next year. I can look into some things for you to see what angles you can work. Well, if you have a representative that you can call or email or anything like that, and just say, listen, I follow this guy. He's an influencer, and here's his situation. You know, he's American, and he's been waiting for over a year for his wife's petition, I-130 petition, to be processed. It's untenable how long he's been waiting, and he's just wants to move back to the U.S. Perhaps that's a thing. That's what Julian Newman said I should do. Like try to contact government officials, and that's what I've been trying to do. I just haven't heard anything back. How can she share the bed if she's not with you? We are stuck in Canada, concerned Canadian. We're stuck in Canada. We live here. I'm not separating from my wife. The reason why it's untenable is because we were evicted from our previous place, and rents have gone insane in the town that we're living in. So we have to rent a tiny little shoebox for like $3,000 a month. It's crazy. That's what's going on. Yeah, concerned Canadian. What the fuck, man? All right. There you go. Lost track of your thoughts. No clue what Clyde's doing. Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, I answer people's questions, but sometimes it's just like, what? Sorry, I just got here, and I thought the topic would be still on castle law. We haven't even got there, so don't worry. We'll be talking about that. We've been talking about immigration, which is one of the leading causes to why this stuff has been a problem. Viva Fry is not on your side. My side? Last time I texted with him, he was on my side. I don't know what you're talking about. He's not on my side of the border currently, because he's in Florida. BC is the worst for affordability. It sure is. And it's one of these things, right? So we're in a town, and the town we're in, we can't just pick up and move everything to another town in Canada if our plan is to move to the U.S., right? It would be untenable for the kids, for everybody. So it's one of these things. Yeah, we found a temporary place, but this temporary place is going on for far too long. I mean, the temporary is almost like what temporary foreign workers think temporary means. It's becoming, it's overstaying its welcome. Exactly. Exploited and used for profit. Totally. It goes millions, tens of millions, billions, tens of billions. Most companies are in the order. They worship Satan or money. Life is going to get harder. I hope and pray for our leaders to change. Well, you're going to have to make them change. You're going to have to make them change because, boy, do they not want to. They love that status quo. Regulation on temporary foreign workers and truckers on our roads will be better. It just means we need to get used to it. We just need to get used to it? Big question. I don't know. Jilly beans. There is nothing more temporary than a temporary government program. That's correct. Milton Friedman famously said that. That's right. Unreal. Okay, so Michelle Rempel Garner, I don't know how she says it. She jumps up to the podium. Needed a stepping stool or a soapbox of some sort or whatever, but she said her piece.
Well, thanks for the question, Ezra. It's absolutely egregious that these companies expect that they can just maximize corporate profits on the backs of and at the expense of Canadian youth. It's a practice that has to end. It's
not just on the backs of Canadian youth. It's on the backs of those temporary foreign workers. They're brought over here, human trafficking, as was pointed out by Breakpoint Communities earlier. It's human trafficking. They're indentured servants. They come here. They're treated awfully. And then because of the disruption that it causes and their inability to melt in with the culture, because it's not a melting pot, it's a mosaic, as they say. What's the first thing you do to make a mosaic? You break the glass. You break it. So they have their enclaves and they don't speak the language. They don't need to. They don't learn our culture. They don't need to. And then it breeds more hostility with the local populations. And then you see all kinds of stuff happen on I see it every day online. I see it every single day. And it's getting egregious. It's getting gross. I don't like it. I have to point it out. People get upset. It is what it is. But nobody wins in this situation. The only people that are winning are people that have the stakes in these companies. They're getting profits. And you think that politicians aren't getting greased? They are. Absolutely getting greased. Their palms are getting greased for sure.
Naming and shaming them all week. I want to thank my team for finding those examples, but I encourage Canadians to go and look for themselves. There's been websites that have been set up so that people can see what these companies are doing. But
the more blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Pierre Poilievre comes out and he makes a statement afterwards. Calls out Tim Hortons by name. Tim Hortons
has hired an unimaginable 1,131% more temporary foreign workers in the last 4 years. In the first half of this year alone, the TFW program has imported 74% more low-skilled labor than in all of 2015. TFWs, the number of temporary foreign workers, is now 2% of our overall workforce, and a staggering number, an unprecedented number. Now, the Liberals promised they would cap the temporary foreign worker program at 82,000, but in the first 6 months, they've already handed out 105,000 permits. To put this into perspective, if they do the same number of permits for temporary foreign workers in the next 6 months that they did in the last, they will break the record again with over 200,000 temporary foreign workers coming in to take jobs when our own young people are facing record unemployment. The Liberals have to answer, why is it that they're shutting our own youth out of jobs and replacing them with low-wage temporary foreign workers from poor countries who are ultimately being exploited?
So this is the thing. He's pretending he doesn't know the answer to that. I know it's a rhetorical question, but he's not answering the actual answer to the question. What's the reason? What's the cause for that? It's because they can't get entitlements under order. There are so many entitlements in Canada and a shrinking population. You have people who've been promised retirement at 65 years old and to be paid out entirely for the rest of their lives. And let's just be honest, people are living a lot longer than they used to when this assistance came out in the first place. I think it was Ben Shapiro that even talked about this recently. I gotta pop this up if I can find it. And he got so much crap for this. Ben Shapiro, what did he talk about? Retirement age. Ben Shapiro on retirement. Was this a year ago? Oh, this is a year ago. This wasn't recently. This was a thing. But Ben Shapiro's actually right. And it doesn't sound great. It sounds awful, actually. But he goes a little too far, let's be honest. He says that some people shouldn't retire, period. But this is what people have been promised. It's crazy.
About this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy.
And this is about the U.S., not Canada. Remember, Canada, the Conservatives tried to raise the retirement age, I think, to like 67, and they lost government over it. It's crazy. In France, they tried to raise the retirement age, and the streets caught fire. It's insane. It's unbelievable. In Japan, they've started making reforms to it. Now, when you retire, you get a partial retirement. You get switched to part-time, and then half your life is subsidized, and then they ease you into retirement. This is a thing. But yeah, this is Ben Shapiro.
Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement. No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea.
I didn't get the whole clip there because it wasn't available, I guess. But I know people are saying stuff about Ben Shapiro. It's like you can't agree with everybody 100%. Like the guy's an ever-Trumper. He was an ever-Trumper. I can't agree with him on that. There's a lot of stuff he says that I don't agree with. But when he's right, he's right. And he's right on that one. Retirement's a crazy thing because it started up as this thing, and then it slowly turned into an entitlement. And people didn't save for their retirements. They don't do that because whatever, the government's got me, right? I pay into this Ponzi scheme, and they got me. And then what do you do? Shapiro's a joke? Come on, yeah, Shapiro. Shapiro can be a joke for sure. But come on, even a broken clock is right twice a day. The guy's been right on a lot of things. Let's just be honest. And he got famous doing the whole college campus thing, which started a whole new genre. So give him credit where credit's due. But no, Clyde, the next generation can't get jobs. No, they can't. They can't get jobs. What if the people don't retire? Well, that's just there isn't enough people to replace the last generation. So here's what's going on. The reason why they're bringing over so many foreigners and not temporarily, they want them to be here forever. This is definitely a thing. What's this? 2 years apart. Hold on a second. My parents, 2 years apart. Dad didn't have to apply for CCP and OAS, but the rules changed, and my mom has to apply now. Oh, so if you don't apply for it, you just don't get it. Fair enough. I'm pretty sure everyone will apply for it. That's the thing. Where was I? Oh, I just got derailed. Oh, the whole reason for the temporary, or sorry, they're not temporary. I keep saying temporary, but they're not. Dad got his automatically. Yeah, they don't want that to happen anymore. And I think the reason why they don't want it to be automatic anymore is because I think checks would get sent out to people who are like deceased and things like that, and then somebody would just assume that identity or just keep cashing the checks on their behalf kind of thing. That kind of fraud happens all the time with government, just paying out because that's what they do every month to that account. Just pay it out. But anyway, we have this huge unfunded liability. And the unfunded liability is because of how many, first off, how many entitlements we've promised and how we can't pay for it with the amount of people that we're projected to have in the workforce in the future, which is crazy. Jevon Jandrew with a $69.99 super chat. Wow. Thank you so much. It's very generous of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. He says, I saw a thing recently where PBD was talking to socialists. PBD, who's Patrick Bet David. That's, is it, are you meant to say PBD? Patrick Bet David was talking to socialists. PBD was saying, that when the retirement age was created, the average lifespan was 60 years, but the pension wouldn't kick in until 65, the good old unattainable social services. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. They were expecting to possibly, for, maybe 3 out of 10 people pay for about 3 to 5 years of living. That's all they were expecting when Social Security was invented, when they come up with it. And it's incredible. Who's the first woman to collect Social Security? This is an interesting story. So let me pop this up. Try to find this. First woman to collect Social Security. Here it is. The first woman to collect a monthly Social Security retirement check was Ida Mae Fuller of Vermont, who received her first check for $22.54 on January 31st, 1940. Fuller, who had paid less than $25 over 3 years, lived to be 100 years old and collected over $22,000 in benefits, demonstrating the system structure of paying more than one contributed over a lifetime. Isn't that amazing? The first person. Don't you think that at the very end that it's going to go the other way around? It's going to be the last people, the first people to buy into it got paid out huge, and the last people to be eligible to get it will have paid tons and never get anything. That's what's going to go down. That's how it's going to work. Ida Mae Fuller, boy, did she get her money's worth on that one. Like I said, a Ponzi. Yeah, that's right. It is a Ponzi scheme. And here we are. But here's the problem. And big thanks again, Jevon. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Huge Ponzi scheme. Isn't that a Ponzi scheme? Isn't that a Ponzi scheme? It's so funny because, okay, funny story. When I was younger and Stephen Harper was prime minister at the time, and I was reading a lot about this stuff, and I was getting frustrated because I was still young and I wasn't doing so hot. I was still like, when you're young, you don't get paid a lot for the hard work you do. And as you get older, you're less and less physical work, but you have more and more skills. So you get paid more and then you're good. But when you're young, man, you bust your ass and not get paid a lot. And every time I got my paycheck and I saw all these contributions that I'm paying into, like taxes and unemployment and pension plans and all this stuff, I get frustrated and I read about it, the way the system actually works, and I get really PO'd. Love the live streams, unfiltered opinions. Thank you, Just Monica. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I sent an email to the office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Mr. Economist, Stephen Harper, and I didn't divulge who I actually was. I made up a bit of a story. Oh, Clyde is saying we need immigrants when Canadians, especially if you're white, cannot get jobs. DEI is alive and well. What? Is that something like Kathy Newman? So what you're saying is? No, I'm saying this is what the politicians want. Instead of making the right move and telling people, no, we need to wean them off of these Social Security safety nets. Very different. Very different. Yeah, no, I don't want to be left holding the bag on that one, just like nobody else wants to be left holding the bag. And I especially don't want, just for the sake of some politician who's like, kick the can down the road, not on my watch, let's just get a gazillion new people into the country so that it looks good on paper and the fiscal burden is paid for. No, of course I don't agree with that. Absolutely don't agree with that. So, where was I? So I sent a letter to Stephen Harper, and I posed as some, like, I don't know, business investor guy, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Stephen Harper, thank you for taking my email. I'm an investor and a businessman, and I've come up with a great idea. And let me just tell you what the idea is. It's called the Double Down. It's the Pension Double Down program, and what it is people in Canada can choose to double down on their pension. They could double their CPP contributions, pay that to my company, and my company will hold on to that money. We'll hang on to that. And in fact, we'll probably spend it or invest it into other things. And then at the end, they can collect the same money as they would that they took from the pension, except they'll get twice as much. Hence the double down. Now, my legal team has told me that if I'm going to run a business that relies on paying off the initial investors with the monies that are collected by new investors, that's technically called a Ponzi scheme. Now, my lawyer teams have been telling me this, but I said to them, there's no way it could be illegal. This is what the Canadian government does. So I just wanted to pass it by you so you could clarify this so that my legal team can go forward with making this new double down program. And I thought I sent it off, and it was much of me just trying to get my frustrations out, largely why I do this YouTube channel and all of this stuff. But it's like, I just wanted to say something about it. And so I got a letter back, and it probably wasn't from Stephen Harper. It was from a staffer. But nonetheless, they sent me a letter back, and the letter read, "Dear Mr. Clyde, we understand your predicament, but the reason why it's legal for the government to do so is because of its mandatory nature." And then gave no other explanation. Or the reason why it works, not the reason why it's legal. The reason why it works is because of its mandatory nature. Oh boy. So as long as a Ponzi scheme is mandatory, it's legal. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. But hey, ask and ye shall receive. Defaichu for 10 says Ayn Rand collected Social Security. Then when asked why, since that went against everything she wrote about, she replied, "I paid into it." She isn't wrong. She wanted her money back. I totally agree. And a lot of people would say, like, shouldn't you, on grounds of not being a hypocrite, never get a grant money or get a tax refund or get any of these things? It's like, no, I want my money back. At any point, if the government's handing out money and it's got your name on it, take it. Don't say a word. Put it in your bank. Put it in your pocket. Don't give them some excuse not to give it to you. It's your damn money. It's your damn money. Take it back. Of course, I reject the idea of people being allowed to take money when they're not making money. Welfare schemes and the like. It's awful. And I don't agree that these programs are good, even. Just if somebody's going to give me my money back, I'm going to take my money back. No qualms about that one. Spencer's Corner for 5 says, hey, Clyde, what you're describing is basically a superannuation pension. Those are extinct except for Australia, IIRC. So you're saying that's legal? It's legal to pay off investors, new investors with the money, or sorry, pay off old investors with the money collected by new investors in a pyramid sort of way. Oh, that's funny. What was that explainer? It was this one's great. It's so perfect. Oh, I love it. I love it. The Office, everybody. That's oh, that's how it works. That's how the pyramid schemes work, and people fall for it all the time. They fall for it always. But that's, oh, geez, that's just about that. Where was I? Where were we going with this? We were going because due to all of this mass immigration and things that are going on, crime is on the rise. Crime is on the rise massively. And we're seeing more and more instances of people being assaulted in their own homes all over the place. It really is crazy. It really is crazy. You've got the story here from the Post-Millennial. Canadian man arrested for assaulting intruder during a home invasion. What? So you get your house broken into, you defend yourself, the guy gets hurt, and you get charged. Confrontation inside a Lindsay apartment early Monday left one man in a hospital with life-threatening injuries and another facing assault charges, according to police. You think it might be one way, but it was the wrong way. The Kawartha Lakes Police Services said that the incident took place in an apartment on Kent Street shortly after 3 a.m. Officers inside were called after a resident reported confronting an intruder inside his home, reports CTV News. Investigators alleged that the resident, a 44-year-old Lindsay man, attacked a 41-year-old intruder, leading to what police describe as an altercation. The intruder was airlifted to a Toronto hospital with serious injuries. Following an investigation, police charged the resident with aggravated assault. Aggravated assault! And assault with a weapon. Ezra Levant put this out on Twitter saying, I've got great news. The homeowner, Jeremy, actually saw my post and got in touch with me. We've agreed to crowdfund his lawyer, and we've launched a petition to strengthen the Castle Doctrine in Canada, or in law. Learn more and join the fight at castlelaw.com. Rebel's so funny with that. They got websites just waiting, in the waiting. The owner of the house, whose name is Jeremy, according to journalist Ezra Levant, has launched a petition to strengthen our castle doctrine in law. The man's lawyer will also be crowdfunded. This is crazy. One story after another. Ontario trans male breaks into family home, sexually assaults toddler. I mean, if ever the old Louisville Slugger was to ever come out, I mean, what? These are the things that are happening, and can't and it's unbelievable. And that whole trans thing, craziness. Lawlessness is happening all over the country. It's crazy. People's houses are getting broken into. as Antoine Dodson would say. I gotta pull the clip up. Because what was it? Alex Zoltan told me this the other day. He's like, it reminds me of that Antoine Dodson clip. How do you spell that? Antoine Dotson. Dawson. That's it. Oh, this is the original clip too.
Terrifying moments for a woman who woke up to a strange man.
This is a treat for everybody who's not seen this clip and doesn't know this from the internet. You're welcome, folks.
And in bed with her. The woman screamed. Her brother rushed in to help and tried to fight the offender off. That break-in happened.
And I'll tell you what, he wasn't charged. And he didn't have to lie to anybody. I didn't fight anybody. I didn't do anything. No.
Early this morning in the 500 block of Webster Drive in Huntsville. WFF 48's Elizabeth Gentle caught up with the victim. Elizabeth, emotions were running high.
And Mark, the woman, the victim, tells us that a man broke into her house and tried to rape her. Her brother went in and he tried to help her out, but the man got away, leaving behind, though, evidence of his visit. Kelly Dodson was asleep with her little girl inside their apartment on Webster Drive when
I was
attacked by some idiot from out here in the projects. Dodson says her attacker used a garbage can to climb onto the unit's ledge, opened the upstairs window, and then he got in bed with her. He tried to rape me. He tried to pull my clothes off. Dodson struggled with her attacker, knocking over items in her bedroom. Antoine Dodson heard his sister scream and ran to help.
Well, obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they're raping everybody out here.
The attacker got loose and went out the upstairs window, but he did leave something behind.
We got your T-shirt. You done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
A crime scene investigator photographed and dusted for prints on the lid of the garbage can and the window pane and ledge. Dodson says he's never seen the perp before, but sends this warning to whoever is responsible.
You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. We gonna find you. I'm letting you know now, so you can run and tell that, homeboy.
Well, if you have any information,
So you can run and tell that, homeboy. And that's the thing, like in Canada, you get charged for saying that. You totally get charged if you were to say anything of the sort. We're coming for you, homeboy. Hide your kids, hide your husband, because they're raping everybody out here. So, yeah, I can't play the song, but you guys can all find it. It's the Home Intruder remix. By Smoyoho. Classic YouTube's classic internet stuff. The song is better. It is. That's copyright. I can't do that. So go find it because it's great. It really is good. I think it made like the top 20 charts at one point. It was that popular. But that's the thing. So you can't do what they did there in Lincoln Park. You can't run up and defend your sister. Or anybody in the house. And in fact, you're being told that you should probably just comply. You should probably just comply. What? Is that really the advice that we're getting? Well, as it turns out, yes. There you have it, folks. Experts say the best thing to do in a home invasion is to comply. If they want to take your car, comply. If they want to do that snuggles with your family, comply. If they want to end you, comply. Don't stand up for yourselves, Canadians. That wouldn't be the Canadian thing to do.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself...
It's not so unlikely anymore, there, Mr. Police Chief.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive, and be the best witness possible.
Be the best witness possible. Unreal.
This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators, hiding, fleeing the home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary.
But as it stands,
We know the best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations.
Safety recommendations is comply with the assailant that enters your home. And that's just absolutely absurd. I mean, it doesn't get much more absurd than that, than to say, comply with someone who's assaulting you, someone who's, coming in with a weapon, coming in with a thing. And it's funny because people are like, wow, I don't know. They just want your things. But you know what? I want my things. I worked hard for my things. You're just gonna take my things and then that's it? You just get my stuff? I worked hard for my stuff. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. There was
something tells me
this is great. I want to share this because this is a YouTuber, Ben Malik, who put out a video talking about this. And he's a smaller channel. Go follow him. Ben Malik. I left a comment on this one, and he replied to me really quickly. So go check him out. I think he's spot on about this.
Something tells me that the people who made the self-defense laws haven't actually experienced what it's like to be robbed at knife point, let alone have it happen in their own house, and then they just stand and tell you, let them take everything. And then the cops get there hours later, just take a note of everything. You never get your stuff back.
No.
People don't get caught. And you passed up that 1 second where you could have grabbed something and done something wild. But no, you were gonna get charged if you did that. So you just lost all your stuff. Because unless you've been taking martial arts since a very, very young age, and you know exactly how to assess the level of danger you're in and match it exactly, you're gonna get in legal trouble. You get to a point where you just decide, I'm taking that 1 second. I'm kidding. I would just leave and go and sleep in a homeless shelter or on the street and let the robbers have my place, because if they're committing those heinous crimes, threatening people and just breaking into their houses, who are you to think you know what's going on in their head, right? They might be depressed about something. I'm big, you're small, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's holy cow. What a great short. I love that. And I commented on it. I left the link in there for you guys to go watch it. And well, like go click on it, open a tab, watch it, subscribe to his channel. Get more people over there. Like I see someone out there putting himself out there, sharing a point of view that's legitimate and great. I want to see more people go over and subscribe. I'm subscribed to him. I can't wait till he comes out with more. I'm gonna watch more of that. It's great. It's refreshing. It's great to see more people getting themselves into this and saying their piece. Because I wouldn't be here if I didn't do the same thing. Absolutely. So yeah, big props to Ben Malik. Get on over there. Subscribe to his channel. I'll leave the link to his channel as well here. So y'all can give a subscribe to him. Really cool. Really cool of him putting that out there. But it's crazy to think that, right? So, and he makes this point that a lot of people, that's all they got is what's in their possession. And the government has no guarantee. There's no rights. It's not guaranteed in the charter, even. There's no property rights in Canada. And they did that on purpose, when they were drafting the charter, and they're like mobility rights and rights to expression and all these other things, and they're like, yeah, we should put property rights on there. And a bunch of the socialists are like, oh, about that. Yeah, about that. That's a tough one because, you know, this whole like greater good thing we got going on, you know, this whole idea of, you know, maybe we need to redistribute wealth sometimes here and there. Maybe this is a thing that we got to do. I don't know. Maybe people won't be so keen on that if they had a right to their property. But oh, they still put that in there. And David Lametti, he put it clearly. He said it absolutely clearly.
Well, look, we'll obviously tailor the provisions so that it could withstand a court challenge. You don't have an absolute right to own private property in Canada. There are steps that are taken when expropriations happen at whatever level of government, and we'll be sure to stay with.
And we'll be sure to do that. Be sure to appropriate your property. It's unbelievable that people don't realize this, that in Canada, there is no right to property. So you want to say, I'm defending my home. I'm defending my home. I'm defending my things. You don't have a right to that in Canada. That's not recognized by our government, by our charter. The charter has proved useless. It is useless anyway, even if it was guaranteed in the charter. Yeah, there's also that. There's also the notwithstanding clause, and then the big opening that says, well, we're granting you some rights, but only when it's convenient to us, and there might be a time where it's not convenient. That's the dumbest thing ever written, by the way, because when is it that you need the rights the most? It's when the government infringes on your rights. And if the government wrote it into your rights, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, they write it right in there that, oh, well, you know, you got these rights until it's inconvenient for us, and then, you know, then you don't. You don't. You don't have them. They're not your rights. Rights aren't rights unless they're inalienable. You can't take them away. Andrew for $2 says, save the ostriches. Yes, save the ostriches out there in middle BC. They're still going after him. It's crazy. Lametti is a weasel, but he's just visibly a weasel. They're all weasels, man. Get the Vaseline ready. Oh, wow. Yeah. Maybe that's an investment in Canada. Invest in Vaseline. Yes, boy. People are going to need it. That blows my mind, Clyde. Yeah. Right. And this is why I cherish so much this document. The Constitution of the United States of America. What a brilliantly written document. It's a document that doesn't grant power to the government only to then dole it out to the citizenry. We're not subjects. It's written, it starts with we the people. We the people are allowing for government to form. And here's a statement of all the things that are our rights that you shall not infringe on. And that's that. Our rights come from God. Our rights come from your Creator. They don't come from man. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. But yeah, the charter of okays and privileges. The charter of sure go for it's and privileges. Don't ask for permission. That's not how things work. I only serve the man upstairs. Tiny go homes. Jilly Pepper says elbows that have been flying around. They've just been moist AF. Oh, speaking of elbows, holy cow. So Trump's been going pretty hard, which is awesome. I'm appreciative of it. There's a lot of Canadians that don't like it, and I don't get it. I don't get it. Canada's had a sweet deal for a long time and behaved so terribly with that sweet deal and screwed Canadians over. Like, Canada has screwed Canadians over for so damn long that, like, wow, people are just starting to realize this. It's crazy. But yes, it's Canada that's been screwing Canadians over. And then the US is like, finally, like, you know what? We're doing a bit of a sea change around here. We're going to change some stuff. And here's the thing we're going to change. No more entering our market without at least a reciprocal trade. And you know what? On top of that, because you all need us and we don't need all y'all, we're going to just make an entry fee. That's it. You can come to the park. You can hang out all day, get your wristband. You can come in and go. But when you come in, you just got to pay an entry fee. That's all. You get what I'm saying? Okay. And if you don't like that and you try to cheat us, that entry fee goes way up. It goes way up. And that's the deal. I hate that we can see all sides and the liberals can only see one. The libs just do not have critical thinking skills. Fucking sheep in a world full of wolves. It is full of wolves. Holy cow. Oh, and I always wonder who gets scammed. It must be them. It must be them. The people that get the phone calls with, hey, this is a recent one in British Columbia is, this is ICBC. You just had a parking ticket. You got to pay the fine. Click on this website to go pay the fine. ICBC doesn't issue parking tickets. But people fall for that stuff. It's crazy. Oh, Clyde, what are you going to do when AOC gets elected president? Do you think she'll actually get elected president? After all the gerrymandering is finished, and I don't know. I see another 2 terms of Republicans. And hopefully they set stuff back and then close the door behind them. So even further future Republicans can't undo what they've done. They are the ones getting scammed. Yeah, this is crazy. But so speaking of getting scammed, BRICS is all about the scam. Let's bring that up. Joe Biden forced Russia and China into a close partnership. That was a bad idea. Now Trump came in and forced China and India into a close partnership. I don't know if I agree with that. This is what's happening. Powerful optics. China, Xi, to welcome Putin, Modi, and grand show of solidarity. They tried to pull off this BRICS thing. Now, it's not really flying so great. And some of the agreements and some of the things that they're pulling over there, not great. Not great. And Trump is really sounding the alarm. Donald Trump, from his Truth Social on the 31st, says, I don't care what India does with Russia. I can take their... they can take their dead economies down together for all I care. We have done very little business with India. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world. Likewise, Russia and the USA do almost no business together. Let's keep it that way. I tell Medvedev, the failed former president of Russia, who thinks he's still president, to watch his words. He's entering very dangerous territory. Oof. Yikes. Breaking. Trump aims to ban U.S. IT outsourcing to India, threatening millions of jobs. Drop a... If you would... Oh, yeah, drop a like. So what if he does? What jobs are threatened? Indian jobs? Do you care? You're like... Is there a single bleeding heart out there over that? That's crazy. Trump also commenting. When was this? This is a post from a while ago. This is on the 25th of Jan. Oh, no, sorry. No, this was yesterday. No, not yesterday. A few days ago. It says, what few people understand is that we do very little business with India, but they do a tremendous amount of business with us. In other words, they sell us massive amounts of goods, their biggest client, but we sell them very little. Until now, a totally one-sided relationship, and it has been that way for many decades. The reason is that India has charged us, until now, such high tariffs, the most of any country that our businesses are unable to sell into India. And this is a big point for Trump, is that, no. These days, the days of us paying a surplus to enter your market as Americans, not Canada, Americans, companies, paying a surplus to enter foreign markets, and those foreign markets having zero restriction getting into the United States, those days are finished. They're over. And Canada has been whinging about it, and a bunch of countries are whinging about it. Now India's whinging about it. And guess what? It's about to get a lot worse for India. It has been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and military products from Russia, very little from the U.S. They have now offered to cut their tariffs to nothing, but it's getting late. They should have done so years ago. Just some simple facts for people to ponder. And he then raised the tariffs on India to 50%. Entering the U.S. market. That's going to put so many businesses under if they don't do something. And that's going to create a tremendous amount of pressure on the Modi government. Did you hear that Japan is being forced to take in immigrants from India? Forced by who? Forced by who? I know that there's been some opening of immigration in Japan, and this is why the Japan First Party has really come up. And that's getting interesting, actually. Quite interesting. So more on the Truth Social side of things. Trump posting today. He says, it shows a picture of the BRICS nation leaders getting together. And he says, looks like we've lost India and Russia to the deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. President Donald J. Trump. Man, he's poking the bear. He is. And it's great because this is Donald Trump. And let me tell you something. Trump has been trolling all afternoon. It's hilarious. Like this. I can't share that audio. It's copyright. But yeah, there he is with himself standing in front of a smiling Mount Rushmore. China. Yeah. Love it. And then just trolling away. There's what's his name? Christie doing the old sumo thing. He posted this yesterday, which I thought was hilarious because this has already made the rounds. But he posted it anyway. The Cracker Barrel thing. What's this, Gavin Newsom wearing a Trump hat? Trump 2028.
I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received...
Oh no! Somebody used their free speech to troll you. Wow. Cry about it, Newsom. Are you saying Xi looks like Winnie the Pooh? LOL. No, I wasn't saying that, but that's... Yeah, he does. Oh, that's hilarious. And then we've got this is amazing.
Anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them. Anyone who...
Yeah. That doesn't sound anything like what you guys did to him. Oh, man. Nobody feels sorry for you, Democrats. Nobody feels sorry for you. And what's crazy is the absolute amount of frivolous challenges from lower courts that have been going on recently. This is something that's been going on. Again, the tariffs being, not canceled, but what is it? Postponed is maybe that how you would call that. But this happened just recently. And whoa, that was loud. Of course, they're reporting about it on CTV. Or sorry, CBC. Oh, this is CBS.
Appeals court delivered President Trump a major blow to his tariffs agenda over the weekend. A panel of judges ruled the president overstepped his authority by imposing reciprocal tariffs on nearly every U.S. trading partner. Now, let's think back about this. As a reminder, these were just some of the countries to see higher tax rates put in place by the Trump administration. In fact, at one point, countries saw tariffs like 100%. In China, increase in reciprocal tariffs. Cambodia, Vietnam also faced high levies, both at nearly 50%. So President Trump wasted no time responding to the...
And it worked, by the way. It's been working, by the way. Just a little update. U.S. stock market gained $13.5 trillion in the last 4 months. Doing pretty awesome. I must say. They're doing pretty awesome. Here's what Trump said about the lower court talking about this.
The federal ruling, posting on social media, writing, if a radical left court is allowed to terminate these tariffs, almost all of this investment and much more will be immediately canceled. In many ways, he says, we would become a third world nation with no hope of greatness again. CBS News legal contributor.
Back to what Joe Biden brought the United States of America. Yeah, they got a contributor who's going to say, and she says basically, yeah, they're probably not going to be able to hold on to that. It's going to get challenged in the Supreme Court, and then that's just basically where it goes. Mechanics, late as usual, been busy with the animals around here. If anyone follows me, you know what I was talking about. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my man. But here's Trump talking about this. I might have to scroll, scrub around here to find it, but because I don't have it queued up, but he talks about this in particular.
What's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem, and we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore.
Yeah.
We had a great decision from the Supreme Court.
Here we go.
That had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding.
Okay, so that's not the part. He was talking about a court challenge, but a different court challenge. And that's the bit about having the National Guard go and look at D.C. I'd love to get into that and talk about that more, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the court challenge on the tariffs.
We have to do something. And I do say this. I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors, Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it, because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had
Very
a
well.
liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling. And that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the right.
Oh, who cares about that? Yeah, they freaked out about an AI video. Anyway, so the story is that the lower court challenged Donald Trump on the tariffs, putting the tariffs in question. And of course, everybody's like, oh, the tariffs are going away and all that. No, they're not. No, they're not. How many court challenges has Donald Trump had? The most out of any president. Already in the first 6 months of his presidency, he's already had more court challenges to his executive orders than Joe Biden, Obama, and who was before that? Clinton, I think, combined. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's all within his first 6 months. That's nuts. And guess what? He's batting a 100% average when he goes and he challenges them in front of the Supreme Court. So yeah, it's crazy when you have these lower courts and a high number of lower courts coming at him, and their rulings are 100% opposite of the higher courts. What does that tell you about the lower courts? And it keeps coming out of the same lower courts over and over and over again. These activist judges. It's like, at what point does their position come into question? Like, at what point maybe disbarment is in order for judges in this kind of case, where they just keep challenging no matter what. But folks, I would love to talk about all this stuff all night long, but we're at that 2-hour mark. So let's call it, but let's make sure everybody gets a link over to the Discord so everybody knows, can get over there. Because every week, this is for those that are just joining in or joined in after I talked about it the last time, Discord's another social media. I'm not bringing that because I don't make any money from this. It really is just about community thing. So Friday night live streams are a community gathering at the end of the week. And a lot of people, they want to continue talking. They want to keep talking about those stuff. And I'm there to talk with everybody. It's just when I'm doing the live stream, it's just all my voice. I like to hear your voices. So we do that in Discord. Discord's a social media platform that has really, really good voice and video chats. So we invite people to come over to the Discord server. Now, over in that Discord server, it is only open for people to enter and become members of the Discord server on Friday evenings during this live stream. We did it that way because we had it open before, and so many trolls and bad actors and bots and all that kind of stuff, scammers, would come into the Discord. But if we make it available only during the live stream, then that makes it available for people in a way that works out better. It just works out better for everybody, because then, you can hang out there every day of the week. And you never know. Sometimes Sundays and Saturday evenings we're hanging out there. Some weekdays pop in. I see people chatting, jump in there. But it's mostly a Friday night hangout. It's a Friday night entry. And this is the only time you can get in. And again, it's because we don't want people getting scammed. Don't want trolls and jerks and that kind of thing in there. So get on in there. There's the invite. Sorry, Chili Peppers, that's the wrong one. Copy and paste the one I put in there. Somebody tell me that the link is actually working, and make sure that it is working before we end the stream, because I want to make sure people have the ability to get in there and join in if they so wish to do so. If you're over on Twitter, I think I'll put this in the chat over on Twitter as well. So just bear with me for 1 second here, and then I'll add the link to that on Twitter, so y'all can join in. So I'll put this in the comments, and just there's no explanation. It's just the link. Join it, and that'll only be up for a little bit. Either way, the link expires. It'll expire in a couple of hours anyway. So looks like it's working. That's awesome. So everybody, thanks for coming out for the Friday night live stream. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm going to be barbecuing some meat. I'm going to be on my headset actually for the first little bit while we're getting going in the Discord, cuz I'm going to be doing some rub on some pork, and I'm going to be getting that ready to go in the barbecue, because this is going to be doing an overnight shift in the barbecue, so we can have some pulled pork tomorrow during the day. We're going to rip that stuff apart, and we got all kinds of goodness coming on the way inside the barbecue. No, not Japanese style. This is going to be Southern style. Doing it right. Well, Japanese do it right. They're just doing it in a different way. Anyway, everybody, thank you all so much for joining, and we'll, of course, see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.